the ministers for foreign affairs signed the agreements on behalf of the two governments. Zambia appreciates Eswatini's intervention, especially the king as the leader who intervened in a situation that was faced by Zambia after elections shortly after the predecessor for Hichilema showed a tough hand of not wanting to be removed at the helm of leadership. His Majesty King Yemaswati III saw off the President of the Republic of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema, at the King Yemaswati III International Airport today. The Kingdom of Eswatini and the Republic of Zambia signed mutual agreements for cooperation. This event took place at Lozita Royal Palace, where the two governments will collaborate on different sectors to resuscitate the economies of both countries.
His Majesty King Yemaswati III welcomed His Excellency the President of Zambia, His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, who came through with his minister Rodney Sikumba, who signed a memorandum of understanding with Eswatini Minister for Foreign Affairs, Senator Thuli Dladla. These agreements will allow the countries to share cooperation in fields such as mining, energy, education, agriculture, forestry, direct trade investments such as treated electric poles, maize and ethanol, streamlined tax policies, peace and security within the SADC framework, direct travel linkages such as direct flights, and tourism culture. The heads of state emphasized the importance of timely implementation of regular follow-up on matters agreed to between the two countries, and such directed that the Joint Permanent Commission of Cooperation be revived in order to ensure that the development of signing sector-specific agreements, as the head of state reaffirmed their commitment to collaborate on emerging regional and global challenges such as climate change and effects of COVID-19 pandemic.
The two heads of state hailed the excellent existing bilateral relations between the two countries and expressed their firm commitment to enhance the economic and trade relations that currently exist for the greater social and economic development as well as prosperity for the citizens. During the meeting, the following outcomes were reached. The heads of state underscored the importance of regional groupings in promoting peace, stability, trade and investment for the mutual benefit of the people in the region. The heads of state committed to enhanced bilateral cooperation in fields such as mining, energy, education, agriculture, forestry, direct trade and investment such as treated electric poles, maize and ethanol, streamlined tax policies, peace and security within the SADC framework, direct travel linkages such as direct flights, and tourism and culture. The heads of state emphasized the importance of timely implementation and regular follow-up on matters agreed to between the two countries, and as such, directed that the Joint Permanent Commission of Cooperation be revived in order to ensure the development and signing of sector-specific agreements.
For Channel Yemaswati News, I'm Linda Shongwe, Lozita.
The Republic of Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema commends His Majesty King Yemaswati III for the role he played in mediating situations that emanated shortly after elections in that country, stating that the role of His Majesty was to restore peace in Zambia that they are enjoying today. This was part of his speech delivered at the state banquet held for the President at Lozita Royal Palace.
His Majesty King Yemaswati III hosted a state banquet for His Excellency Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema at Lozita Royal Palace, where upon making speech, His Majesty touched on the issue of mutual cooperation, emphasized on the issue of peace, stating that it is an integral part that will ensure that countries transition into greater economies when countries are enjoying peace.
We applaud your nation for the peaceful election and transition of power. We wish to assure you of our unwavering support as a friend and close bilateral partner of the Zambian people. This visit signifies the good foundation laid by our predecessors. Our two nations have a lot in common, and as leaders, we have a huge task to nurture and protect these relations for many more years to come. This state visit has afforded us the opportunity to share ideas and experiences in the pursuit of our mutual goals as members of SADC, AU, Commonwealth, United Nations, as well as multilateral organizations. Your Excellency, Yemaswati are in peace. Yemaswati are a peace-loving nation, and we are bonded in traditions and customs. This defines who we are as a nation. We believe in dialogue and solving differences in an amicable way without any confrontation. This has been our greatest pillar of nationhood since time immemorial. Meaningful dialogue can only be achieved under an atmosphere of peace. Therefore, as nations of the world, we need to strive for peace at all times.
Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema commended the effort made by His Majesty to continue to sustain peace in Zambia after the election in the transition process with his predecessor, which His Majesty played a huge role in stabilizing the peace that Zambia enjoys today.
And express our sincere gratitude to His Majesty. Most of the ESWATINI people are not aware that in our difficult times, we in Zambia, in our difficult days, we had to invoke the involvement of His Majesty here to help us return our country to normalcy. He did it behind the scenes as a true king. He did it behind the scenes. I don't think any of the Yemaswatis knew what he was doing, helping stabilize Zambia towards our last elections. It was a very difficult time. But he was able to reach out to my predecessor in his own way. He was able to reach out to me without the public being aware. Because sometimes the public had unnecessary pressure. And to work together in this area of trade and investment, first, as the initial step, before we seek investment trade with Europe, with America, with China. We will be stronger by first working together, and I agree with you, Your Majesty, as we with other colleagues in this our global village. And I said it when we had a meeting with the President of Congo, which culminated in the signing of the MOU, that we strengthen nobody. Our cooperation between the Kingdom of Eswatini and Zambia and other African countries in this region will strengthen nobody. We will just make it easier for us to work with you.
The moment was given to President Hichilema, where His Majesty presented an opportunity for Eswatini to celebrate the 60th birthday of His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, which he celebrated on his state visit in the kingdom. For Channel Yemaswati News, I'm Linda Shongwe, Rosita Royal Palace.
President Hakainde Hichilema of the Republic of Zambia left the country through the King Yemaswati III International Airport. He was seen off by His Majesty King Yemaswati III. We have a report.
His Majesty King Mswati III has bid farewell to His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, the President of Zambia. His Majesty King Mswati III bid farewell at the King Mswati III International Airport, where he was accompanying the President when he was leaving back home. His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, before proceeding to his plane, inspected the guard of honor. His Majesty King Mswati III then had an opportunity to greet regiments who were part of the team that bid farewell to the President. Kimbal Mavuso for Yemaswati News at King Mswati III International Airport.
Pastor Manana's event of celebration was graced by His Royal Highness Prince Banzile, who emphasized on the importance of putting forward men of the clergy as their messengers of God.
Sibuthane ngemkhosi lembili ngikuthanda kwakhe uNkulunkulu esizweni sitawugubha umkhosi wemfundisi ukuthi uhlanganisa amashumi nasihlanu weminyaka phinze futhi ukuthi uNkulunkulu umphe iminyaka lemishumi nakuthathu angalashwa angayisibhedlela kungendeke ini kepha ke aphila ngelivangeli na umuntu aphila 30 years angayisibhedlela ushona ukuthi ukhona uyaphila ngoba yena usembisile impilo.
Umnani Nkosi uchazile ukuthi esigodlweni emakhosi yabakholise ngako kwatanana uNkulunkulu.
Sesikhathi ngemfundisi nathi simati ngiyabona nje iminyaka siyawuhlanganisa lishumi so satana nemfundisi imnanzi lendlela nana nathi indlela yokuphila nayo ngoba ngiyona labadzala kangwane labasikhulise yona ukuthi na ufuna ukuphila ekuphileni emhlabeni yadi uNkulunkulu.
Jesus.
Ungaba kubonga kakhulu ezweni nabazalwane yonke imithandazo yeneleni inkonzo abayimpumelelo phefumula umjabula.
Scores of Yemaswati today paid their last respect to the former Deputy National Commissioner Vusi John Masugu. The funeral service was held at Ebenezer in Tlatikulu at his home area. In attendance of masses of people, which also observed the gun salute to the former Deputy National Commissioner, was commenced at the funeral of the late Vusi John Masugu, who served the country in the Royal Eswatini Police Service with honesty. They remembered him as a person who was able to unite the community and also was an instrumental person in the country, as he was able to unite people who had faced difficulties. The organization expressed their loss. Also present were the representative of the police force from the Republic of South Africa, the representative of the National Commissioner stated that they have lost a man who was working diligently.
Fire! Number 2, in fire! Number 3, in fire! And low!
ngeke futhi mhlambe uze mhlambe uyikhohlwe ngokusebenza kwamasuku umkhulu omsebenzi. Sanelelela ke umasuku nawo bonke ehlobo nabo bonke abakhona ethendeni nesive sonke. Babe masuku ke umfana nomakhosi lo ngoba lethi igaba lathambile lakuso usinika amakhosi ubucobo kude lokunyonela umvume ukuthi bengathi nasigaba lokuso masuku coka nje masuku bekagcoka kuba inkosi kuphela eveni lokusho ukuthi masuku emakhosi amadi National Commission emakhosi wabikele ukuthi masuku soshile emhlabeni athi ke makhosi ayanililela kakhulu bomasuku nawo akasathi ukuthi atawuthini ngani ngoba bekanelithemba ukuthi asatawuhamba umthume umfana wabagijime njengoba bagijima kepha namuhla asaphelele atsandilela bomasuku nanonke bekunene.
But the other part that I want to share with you is that when he was promoted to go and head the college, he fitted like a glove. How the college was managed up to the era of Ntate Masuku, he completely changed the picture. Whoever will fit in his shoes, he's got a big task. The plea will be that he must not let Masuku down. He must carry the flag up. On behalf of the department, I wish to say to the family, we've not lost alone. We also have lost a brother, we have lost a...
The representative of the Royal ESWATINI Police, His Majesty's Correctional Services, Umbuto ESWATINI Defense Force, the community members of Hlatikulu were part of this ceremony to see off Mr. Masuku being laid to rest and paying their last respect to him. For Channel Yemaswati News, I'm Linda Shongwe, Hlatikulu Ebeneza. Welcome back. You're still watching channel Yemaswati News, and the news continue. Prophet Kulani Mamba have resigned in the police force, stating that he is going to pursue his calling as a prophet of God. We have a report.
Prophet Kulani Mamba, last year ordained as a prophet in the channel S. So God has called me and said, I have to do a full-time ministry, even on this because we're going to account before God. I've been recognized and for my time spent there, because of my poison. That is true. There's a role but I feel it's time now that our focus on 17 and because I need prayers. Questions there are a lot of questions, but I've decided to obey God. I've decided to take the cross. But this is the time, my brother.
Mhlambe ngeku awusesiwe kucala sike sambona mhlambe nalapha umfundisi Mozimanana naye bekasemasotsheni wayekela kodwa uyaphila ungathini ikakhulu kubazalwane nakuso nje sive sengwenyama
ngemathi kakhulu umfundisi Manana. He used to preach lapha esihlahleni kaManzini asitshela ukuthi bekasebenza lisotsha konke kwakhamba kahle but ngibambita and he has survived till now. He's alive. So I trust the same God now. He is going to sustain me because when am I going to finally surrender to the will of God? This is not a will of man, but it's a will of God.
kwegcina siyeva ukuthi itolo bone service kwendekeni
mfundisi bitolo bengise big band itolo enzaweni bathi kusemangwaneni uNkulunkulu wente timanga lapha sishumayela kwaphendvuka abantu baphendvuka nemuntu angimathi noma udathi lugedla noma yini lebe lwahamba othwala eMozambique uthi bekagubha imithi enta intfo letinenge but itolo samthola waphendvuka wamukela Jesu washisa kushisiwe nje lapha.
Pastors encourages men of the clergy to be one, to pray for community challenges and also help those who are in need in various communities. Today they staged a prayer service at Zombotse. We have a report.
Has a way futhi ujwayele uNkulunkulu wena kanjalo ukuthi nakathi awuhola umuntu amhambise ngendlela lothi wena na uthi uyabuka ukuthi hayi mani uNkulunkulu why wena uqale ngekutona tindvo. Praise the Lord. uNkulunkulu nangabe empilweni yakho atakuhola akakuhambisi ngalena loyibonako kube ngalelinye ilanga ungake ubamba umhlangano naNkulunkulu uthileni uNkulunkulu ungangiholi ngalena ngoba lena ngiyayibona.
Yemaswatini Scon Fun Fair sibuya kuze sendlule etimeni kodwa etimeni sikhobile namhlanje la kaZombotse basamthini sinomende la kusi usuphilile losimanzi usisidile kwaze babala lokuthi kwaze babala ukuthi ngikhandi atasaka sisikafuthi ngoba lokuthi stomo nje kusasa 2023 2024 lokuthi uselidisile usho ukuthi vele sibala emazweni
leti inkonzo leti inkonzo tekuvula umnyaka wemphakathi wendlunkulu kuleti inkonzo leti lekwentekile sibitile bakaswanga batofundisa endlunkulu nge-GBV nangekuhlala kahle emakhaya utawusitakala kakhulu lesive sala kaZombotse saphindze sababita nebakashukela nabo baba ngilabanye labatawufundzisa ukuthi sive sikade iphatha njani le lifestyle yabo bangadla kudla lokunjani kuze bakhone kusimama baphile isikhathi lesithe. So ngibone nje ukuthi kule nkonzo lokwendekile sisitakele kakhulu sisive sakaZombothe bantu bami.
A lady from Begwake is pleading for assistance from Yemaswati. Everything that belongs to the lady was reduced into ashes after their house caught fire. We have a report.
Kushile babe siyavuka nje kuseni ngithi ngiyakhwebha nami ngiyalapha ngibona nasengibuya ngibona sekuphunya imfuthu la ngekhathi iphuma ngafastela iphuma ngemnyango kanti body bekasanza kuphuma mina nangiphuma naye bekaphuma la ashona le nasengibuya mina sengibona le mfuthu uma ke sibe sithi cashi sonke thathe emabhakede sibhola umlilo kuthi kisuka ngani kahle kahle hayi angeke ngathi kodwa nje bese uvile lo msindvo ubugushu babo bahlale babenda vele ke lo bugudlu
ebusuku
bahle bakwenda vele manje bese ngisho bahlaba inyanza leyo siye singakunaki ngoba bayehlaba inyanza leyo kusasekuseni sebanatsisana bona bobabili lokwenda singayingeni kakhulu indzaba yabo.
Msola kushisa bani nini?
Ngisola mina ukuthi kushise lo bhodi lohlala lana ngoba kunele kuphuma yena kwase kufuke
lo baba ekuseni ngimbonile aphisitela nganganakekile ukuthi uphithela wendani abakishada indoda yakhe aphithala endlini emveni ngihambe mina ngoshisa tibi ngithi mangibuya akhulume athi manje ya ngifuna ukuhamba ngishisile nganga-understand ukuthi ufuna kushisa kuphi nomuntu okhipha impahla yini achubeka ngangena endlini ngevasi khona sathi angicela ukuthi atangitshela ukuthi kuyasha endlini saphuma sapecisha umlilo
bese kusheka ngakanani
abese kushile vele bese kusho ngoba lo mlilo bosophuma nalamasasteleni efastelo nje bulewe ngithi
bekasebenza sisi
sisi
lo walandini
hayi angimathi solo ngafika sandi nje ngikhanzelana.
With that story, we've come to the end of our English news bulletin. But before signing off, let's take a quick recap with our top stories making headlines. Eswatini and Zambia signed 2 memorandum of understanding that will allow both countries to have comprehensive collaboration in different aspects of development to resuscitate their economies. Zambia President, His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, have commended His Majesty King Yemaswati III in the role of mediating when shortly after elections in Zambia, as there was chaos, which now as Zambia is able to enjoy peace after the intervention of the King. His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zambia left the country today through the King Yemaswati III International Airport. He was seen off by His Majesty King Yemaswati III after a 3-day state visit into the country. He arrived on Friday through the King Yemaswati III International Airport. Well, that's all for today. Until next time, please do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Good night.
This weather forecast is proudly brought to you by FSRA.